India experienced a colder than normal winter thanks to north-south winter flow set up by the weather phenomena known as La Nina, which is going on for a record-breaking third consecutive year. Now, forecasts for 2023 are predicting that its companion phenomena, the El Nino, will occur with more than 50% probability. Weather depends a lot on ocean temperatures, and where the ocean is warm, more clouds form and more rainfall in that part of the world. In the Pacific Ocean, near the equator, the sun makes the water especially warm on the surface. Normally, a surface low pressure system forms in northern Australia and Indonesia, and a high pressure system develops off the coast of Peru. As a result, the trade winds blow strongly from east to west over the Pacific Ocean, transporting warm surface water westward. This leads to consecutive storms to Indonesia and coastal Australia. What is El Nino and La Nina? El Nino and La Nina are two opposing climate trends that deviate from the normal conditions and normally run 9 to 12 months but can often extend. These events occur every 2 to 7 years on average but not on a regular basis, and together they are referred as the El Nino Southern Oscillation ENSO cycle by scientists. El Nino is typically known as warm phase and La Nina is identified as cold phase of ENSO. Both El Nino and La Nina can have global effect on weather, wildfire, ecosystem and economics. News summary regarding forecast about El Nino. The first thing to note is that El Nino forecast before spring tends to be notoriously unreliable due to a so-called spring predictability barrier. This is because the climate system is quite noisy in spring as the sun transmission across the equator from one hemisphere to another hemisphere. More importantly, in a La Nina year, the tropical Pacific Ocean soaks up heat like a sponge and builds up its volume of warm water. During the El Nino, the warm water spills from the western part of the Pacific Ocean to the eastern part. But the Earth has had 3 straight La Nina years, which means the Pacific's warm water volume is fully loaded and is likely to birth an El Nino soon. But the question is, will this be a strong El Nino like the one in 2015 and 16? An El Nino year creates a global warming crisis in miniature since the warm water spreading across the tropical Pacific releases a large amount of heat into the atmosphere. According to reports, an El Nino this year could increase the planet's average surface temperature by more than 1.5 degrees Celsius from pre-industrial levels. What can be the probable effect of El Nino on India? A transition from La Nina winter to an El Nino summer has historically tended to produce a deficit in monsoon. This means that pre-monsoon and monsoon circulation tends to be weaker in El Nino year. The vertical shear tends to be weaker as well. This in turn can favor enhanced cyclogenesis, that is, cyclone formation. Some research has indicated that Indian Ocean dipole, a seesawing of sea surface temperature over the Western Indian Ocean, could compensate for the negative effect of El Nino. But it is not yet clear whether there is a robust relation between the dipole, the El Nino, and the summer monsoon, as the summer monsoon system is quite complicated. In all, India will have to wait for the El Nino forecast to be updated in the coming weeks.